great counselors.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Look at this.
Hair chest.
14
I
million.
know.
Holy smokes.
You told me I need a couple Brinks trucks, and you're right.
Maybe squeeze in just a little bit more, sir?
Yeah.
That's great. Look over here, please. And that's great, thank you.
Do you have counselors?
One more here, guys, one more here. Say, counselor.
Over here.
Each side, please, yeah.
What a great team.
Okay. We just need to squeeze in a little bit, folks.
Good.
Squeeze in, yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Squeeze in a little bit more. Okay.
We're good.
Stand, you cannot see over top of it. Okay.
I always easy to squeeze.
Look
in.
over here first. Look over here, please. Look over here. Okay, right here. Thank you.
One here, please.
Great. And we're good.
Afterwards, I'll have to give this to our treasurer because they don't trust us with these two lines.
I don't want you to lose it either.
Signature on that one. We're all set there? Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm thrilled to be back here in the beautiful city of Kitchener alongside MPPs Mike Harrison, Jess Dixon, and Brian Riddell. And of course, my good buddy, I call him Bear the Mayor, and Vrbanovic. So thank you, Mayor, for having us by. And I want to thank the city councilors and all the staff for hosting us today. And Mayor, I always say I walked a mile in the city councilor's shoes, one of the toughest jobs, right on the front doorsteps. And, you know, without the collaboration, cooperation of multiple levels of government, stuff like this doesn't happen. So, again, I want to thank the council, and I want to thank the city staff. City staff they just don't get recognized, but they're the ones, the machine behind all of us when we're out there, no matter if it's provincial staff or municipal staff. So we're very, very grateful. And the city's been just such a tremendous partner to our government as we work to build homes and critical infrastructure for our growing Kitchener and their needs right here in Kitchener. We're bringing connected and convenient healthcare to more people and reducing wait times with investments to redevelop and modernize St. Mary's and Grand River hospitals. We're investing over $52 million to build 2 new schools, the St. Patrick Catholic Elementary School in the Stanley Park area. The school will accommodate 527 students, and the South Kitchener Public Elementary School will add 591 more spaces, and we're working to provide much-needed relief to the gridlock on Highway 401. So since I've been elected, it's been about 5.5 years and coming up to 6, all I've heard is about this Highway 7, but with a great leadership of the mayor, but also our team to the left of me, the caucus. And finally, someone told me after like 80, 90 years, you know, we're building the Highway 7 between Kitchener and Guelph, and we're actually getting it done. Unlike other governments, everyone's talked about it from all political stripes, but we're actually getting some advanced work has already begun, including engineering work to support construction. And in February, the contractors were invited to submit proposals for the replacement of the Frederick Street Bridge. So we're throwing dirt around and getting things moving. Friends, we're working closely with municipalities right across the entire province to build more homes. And yesterday, our government introduced new legislation to cut red tape and support municipalities to get shovels in the ground faster. And last month, as part of our budget, we announced $1.8 billion in funding for housing enabling infrastructure. And I know the mayor, he's already has a list from here to the floor about infrastructure. And on top of our $1.2 billion Building Faster Fund, the Building Faster Fund rewards municipalities for progress against annual housing targets. And we're here today to present Kitchener with a Building Faster Fund check of $14 million. Congratulations. Oh, boy. This is good. really good. And last year, the mayor and Kitchener Council, they hit it out of the park. They exceeded Kitchener's 2023 target by breaking ground on 3,579 homes. Just think of that, how you've changed lives for 3,579 families that are going to be able to call home a home and have a roof over their heads. And oh my goodness, it changes people's lives. And the $14 million can be used by the city for community development and infrastructure projects that lay the groundwork for more housing. This is such a great accomplishment, and congratulations to the mayor, council, and staff for exceeding your targets. And my challenge to you, as I say to all the cities, is keep building so that we can keep costs down for hardworking families and keep our economy moving forward. Friends, we're doing our part to bring the dream of home ownership within reach for more people, but we need others to do their part too. Yesterday's decision by the Bank of Canada to keep these key interest rates at 5% is not helping. In fact, high interest rates, they're raising the cost of mortgages, raising the cost of rent, raising the cost of living. High interest rates are making it more expensive and more difficult to build homes. They're making it next to impossible for young people, newcomers, and first-time home buyers to have any place to call home. So again, I call on the Bank of Canada to do the right thing and bring interest rates down. It's not just about buying a home. It's about buying anything, or if you own a small little company or medium or large size company, you know, you go to the bank, you borrow money to buy a piece of equipment, and if the interest rates are too high, they just won't do it. So I do not understand what the governor of the Bank of Canada is doing. We're trying to push the economy, the council and the mayor and our caucus. Everyone's trying to push the economy forward, and you have the Bank of Canada, even though they promised under 3%, inflation, and it's well below 3% now, they're still keeping it at 5%. Obviously, they don't worry about it. They don't care about the economy. They don't care about people's lives. We do. We're the ones talking to people on their front doorstep. Next year, in the next 2 years, when people go to renew their mortgage, I'd like to see the Bank of Canada, what are they going to say when their payments jump up $2,000 or $3,000 that people don't have the money for? And there's no reason to keep these interest rates that high. So, hopefully next time they're going to lower the interest rates, help us stir the economy, help people buy homes, help businesses buy equipment. They're gouging people, absolutely gouging people right now. And something I always say about healthy banks, they're making a killing right now. You look at the record profits, the banks, and I always believe it's good to have banks making money, but this is ridiculous. So that's my rant for the day, and well, it affects everyone. It affects absolutely everyone. So again, thank you for having us by today, and I just want to say I appreciate everything that you do, and mayor and council, and especially staff. You're just all absolute champions. So thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Now I will send it over to my good pal, the mayor. And again, Mayor, I appreciate our relationship. I appreciate our friendship. And this is how things get done in Ontario, folks. You work collaboratively together, and a lot of things are happening right here in Kitchener. So thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much, Premier Ford, and welcome back to the City of Kitchener. Premier, I am thrilled, actually let me correct that, we are thrilled to have you back here personally to join us for today's exciting announcement. Over the last few years, you and I have developed exactly the kind of relationship that should exist between the leaders of two orders of government, working together with our teams to get things done and build a better Kitchener and build a better Ontario together. Your accessibility 24/7, willingness to listen, and most of all, work to find solutions where possible is something I have come to truly appreciate and value. We're also grateful that you're joined today by our local champions from your caucus, your new parliamentary assistant, MPP Mike Harris Jr., as well as MPP Jess Dixon and MPP Brian Riddell. Let me assure you, Premier, all three of them have brought the same passion for getting things done to their work in Kitchener, Cambridge, and the townships, and that is truly appreciated. I do, however, need to give a special shout out to your new parliamentary assistant, who now in his second term has demonstrated his commitment, don't worry, Mike, I'm not going to say anything bad, to work tirelessly on behalf of our communities, and personally thank him for becoming a trusted advisor and friend on provincial issues. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my amazing council team here today. Councillors Scott Davey, Dave Schneider, Christine Michaud, Paul Singh, Stephanie Stretch, and Io Aduni. And not able to be here today are councillors Debbie Chapman, as well as Bill Ioannidis and Margaret Johnson. Our council team, together with our top-notch staff team, has been tireless in their commitment to helping ensure we work closely together with both you and the federal government to jointly tackle the housing crisis impacting our communities. These folks are rock stars, and I want to acknowledge them publicly today. Premier, with the province's support and today's commitment of $14 million from your government to support our home building efforts, we now have further momentum to achieve our shared goals to build more homes now. This will be a great support for the infrastructure needed to get housing built. We know that your government is committed to supporting housing-enabling infrastructure, including your recent announcements in Budget 2024 of a new $1 billion infrastructure fund to support our efforts. And he's right, I already do have a long list. Increasing the supply of housing across the continuum is a top priority at the City of Kitchener, and we're committed to working with the region, the province, the federal government, not-for-profits, for-profits, and the community overall in order to get things done. You see, in Kitchener, we're building a city for everyone, where together we take care of the world around us and each other. You can see this every day in our council and staff's dedication to solving the housing supply crisis in our community. Our incredible team is unlocking more housing, streamlining development approvals, removing barriers, and accelerating planning all in support of our housing targets. These efforts by Team Kitchener and the commitments to building vibrant communities in Kitchener by the private and not-for-profit sectors has helped us achieve the 139% of our 2023 housing target. We have been all hands on deck to achieve this goal last year, and now in the first quarter of 2024, we've hit the ground running. Recently, our council unanimously approved the most innovative and housing-forward planning in the country, what we have called Growing Together. This is focused on much more flexibility and predictability for those who wish to build all types of housing in our major transit station areas. Growing Together will enable over 100,000 new homes in support of our housing targets in our 2 central Kitchener wards. With the help of your government, including your budget commitments and Minister Calandra's introduction just yesterday of Bill 185, the Cutting Red Tape to Build More Homes Act, we are working together to create the conditions to get more shovels in the ground and help more people in Kitchener attain housing. It really speaks to our collaborative commitment to work together to build this great city. Premier, I want to thank you, as well as Minister Calandra, our MPPs here today, and your teams for working with us to achieve our housing goals. We are building Kitchener together for a better Ontario. And now, before I turn the microphone back to you for the Q&A session, I would like to present you with a small gift as a token of our appreciation for today's announcement and the strong relationship we are building together. Now, when you were here last year, we did present you with your very own Kitchener Rangers jersey. And I'll note, we do hope you might wear it in the coming days, but I understand if you can't, as we take on the London Knights again this year in round 2 of the OHL playoffs. If you decide to do, I promise I won't tell Mayor Morgan. This time, though, we thought something for your office, home, or cottage might be nice, reminding you of our shared partnership to get things done.
That's nice. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
Let's move over
Oh,
for a
that's
picture.
beautiful, yeah. That's beautiful.
Both the Ontario and Kitchener logos on there.
Oh, I love it. I really do. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. This is the most expensive sign in the entire province. Beautiful.
There you go. No problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, one more? Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Good.
That's
Awesome.
good there.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
And so with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today and to our respective teams that helped make this morning's announcement possible. Over to you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I want to, first of all, thank you. That's beautiful. I want to thank council too. Boy, that was very thoughtful. And as for the Rangers and the Knights, I got a conflict. I can't. Yeah, that'd be a problem for the folks in London if I cheered for the Rangers. But let's start the questions.
We will now go to reporters' questions. Reporters, please line up at the mic behind me. Please identify yourselves by name and outlet. It'll be one question, one follow-up. First question.
Mr. Premier, Jeff Outher from the Record newspaper in
Yeah.
Kitchener. Thanks
Hi,
for being
Jeff.
here today.
No, thank you.
There is quite a contested land assembly going on out in Wilmot Township, 700 some acres of farmland for an unidentified industrial purpose. So my question for you would be, is your government behind the assembly of this land, and for what purpose? What company, what plant is on its way there?
Well, thanks, Jeff. I have to be fully transparent. What we're doing across the province, we're asking municipalities and regions to assemble land, and there's no proponent right there. We have no one in the back area waiting to jump in there. But there's so many requests through Invest Ontario and through Vic Fideli, through economic development. We've sent some forms out, I think it was about a year ago, and saying if you want to assemble land, we'll be there for you. And if you don't, I understand that. But we're trying to do it across the province. And anyone who assembles it, we're pretty confident companies are going to come and put a facility there, employ people, stir economic development, create great jobs, and just help out the economy. And a lot of smaller towns, like for instance Wilmot, they have they need money. So what better way than clear some land and create some development. And I'm all for it, by the way, but there has to be a willing host. These big companies worldwide that are looking to invest in Ontario, and we're so fortunate to have them, if there's not a willing, hosting city, then they're going to do it. I think the world of the mayor and the council's doing a great job, and everyone needs to take a page out of Mayor Joe Preston's book. The development that's happening there, they're building the 4th largest building in the world, the largest battery plant in North America. It's going to create thousands and thousands of jobs. They had their supplier week this week, and I think 170 companies, and these are big companies wanting to invest billions of dollars. So we're just asking, regions around the province, assemble land, but there has to be a willing host. If they aren't willing, then just move on. That's what it comes down to. But there's no plans. There's no company that are waiting to get the land. But I'll guarantee you one thing: anyone builds land now, assembles land, I should say, the companies are coming, because we're in desperate need across the province of assembled land.
Sure, I appreciate that. A follow-up question, Mr. Premier. I did see in your red tape bill yesterday prospects for municipalities to get into incentives for economic development that they haven't been able to provide before. So can you spell out to me why that would be a good idea, and why we won't have municipalities offering tax breaks or other incentives that they can't afford, that they've been prohibited from doing up until now?
Well, anytime a big company, and I think it's all been public, any big company that comes into a region, the federal government has stepped up with tax credits, we've stepped up, and municipalities have stepped up. We're competing against so many different regions, not just here in Canada, but down in the U.S. They're so aggressive down there. But, we're doing great. As one governor said, we're eating their lunch. We'll eat their lunch, dinner, breakfast, and everything else. Because it's not government that creates the jobs. We create the environment and the conditions for companies to come here, and they thrive and prosper, and they grow. And and then what happens is the communities thrive, prosper, and grow. I remember visiting, and I'm just using St. Thomas because that's where the big, big investment, $7 billion from Volkswagen. You could literally shoot a cannon down the middle of their streets. And all of a sudden now, the investments are coming. It's going to change people's lives. It's going to change people's lives, not just in St. Thomas, but all around the whole region, all the way into London. So it's pretty incredible when these large companies come and invest into their communities. And, talking to Volkswagen, they want to be so part of the communities, no matter if it's building a baseball diamond or a soccer field, or giving back to the community. That's what these companies do. So it's a really exciting time right now in Ontario. We're leading the way, and I love Bloomberg's headlines there a little while ago that Canada, it should say Ontario because it is Ontario, it's true, is now the #1 destination in the world. We unseated China for the first time in EV production, EV battery assembly. And that's a big wow. And it's not our government, it's the municipalities, our government, the feds have been helping out, industry's been helping out. We're unstoppable when we all work together, and it's going really well right now, actually.
Premier Ford, Louisa D'Amato from the Waterloo Region Record.
Hi, Louisa.
Hello, thank you for coming to our great city.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question about the cutting red tape legislation that was announced yesterday.
Yeah.
The planning function of the upper tier region of Waterloo government is going to be dismantled, and I'm wondering why you did that in light of the fact that in the region of Waterloo, a distinctive feature for us is the way the regional official plan protects development from being put on farmland.
Yeah, we haven't done that for the Waterloo region yet. We've done it for other regions, but I was talking to the mayor about it. All the towns, they want their own planning. They don't want duplication happening, and nothing wrong with the region. They're great, but you just get things done a lot quicker than another layer of government. And I have yet to meet, out of 444 municipalities, I have yet to meet a municipality in the lower tier that doesn't agree that they should be involved in their own planning to move things along a lot quicker.
And as a follow-up question, what is your view of development on prime agricultural land?
Well, something that's going to be up to the municipalities to decide. Let me tell you something, folks. We're an exporter of ag products. We exported $20 billion last year, exported, not mentioning everything that we consumed here in Canada. And I don't know if anyone's ever flown over Ontario. I've flown over it east, west, south, north, and we have a big area. So you have two choices here. You just say, stop everything. Let's not invite companies here. Let's not build any more homes, and let's stay stagnant. Well, guess what happens? You fail, you get yourselves in debt. We want to build and we want to move forward, but there has to be the right area, and I'm not the one to dictate what the area is. The municipalities know best, so we always take their advice.
Ashta Shetty from CBC News here.
Hi.
There's concern around the general layout and quality of student housing, and it doesn't include enough kitchen space, enough bathrooms. So why is student housing being included in the housing plan?
Well, because if a student isn't, first of all, let me go back here. The colleges and universities are going to have as of right to build. They don't have to go through all the bureaucracy. We're in desperate need of student housing. And if the students aren't housed on the site, then guess what? They're taking a rental property off someone else that needs it within the community. So as our universities grow, more kids are going to college and university, and this is a college university town if I've ever seen one, and some great colleges and universities. The kids need a place to stay. I remember my kids, they went to Laurier, two of them, and one went to Conestoga. And the toughest challenge is, finding a place, affordable place for the parents to afford. I think at the time my girls had one apartment. They had 5 rooms in it, so there was 5 girls in there, and they had the kitchen, But the thing cost a fortune. So let's build more on these college campuses and university campuses. But the parents, man, that's big money for the rent nowadays. Yeah. Oh, Mike, don't worry. Wait until your dozen kids get older.
Going to Canada or college next year.
Oh, yeah, it's cost
We're
a
in the process of evaluating residences right now.
yeah. But like every parent in this room feels the crunch. So let's build more residence for the students.
For my second question on intimate partner violence, your government is so far supporting an NDP bill to label it an
Yes.
epidemic, but you're sending it to a committee for study. The opposition and advocates say it'll mean a big delay on something they've been asking for years, and that's been already studied extensively as these tragedies continue. So why are you doing
Yeah,
this?
they are tragedies, but we have to give this some teeth. We're going to bring it over the Justice Committee, and it's something that we have to deal with. It's one thing to pass legislation, nothing happens. Let's put some teeth into this, bring it to the Justice Committee, and drill down. But it's a very serious issue. You know, I talked to the father last night at 9 o'clock in Sault Ste. Marie. Brian, that lost four people in his family. You want to talk about a hard conversation. You talk to a father that lost his daughter, his kids. Oh my goodness, it just rips your heart out. That's the difference. You can hear these stories, but listen to the families that it has affected. It's terrible. And the 3 young grandchildren that got murdered, terrible. Just absolutely terrible. So we have to dig deep into this. And by the way, we put $1.4 billion towards gender violence. So it's not a lack of money. We're pouring money into it. But there's one thing to pour money past legislation, but let's put some teeth into this. It's really heart-wrenching when this happens to families. Has to stop. It tears the community apart too.
It's Ashley with CT News.
Yes.
I want to know your thoughts on fourplexes. Here in Waterloo Region, there has been a strong positive voice for fourplexes with most municipalities.
Yep.
Why are we not moving a little bit more on doing this in conjunction with single dwelling or townhouse home builds?
Yeah, I just don't believe the province knows best. I don't believe the feds know best. You know who knows best? Are the communities and the mayors and the council. So I'm going to leave that up to them to decide. Some want it, some don't want it. But that's going to be strictly up to the municipalities. No one knows their communities better than the mayor and city council. So they're going to decide if they want it. God bless them. If they don't, that's fine too. We just need to build homes. That's it.
And on that note, a follow-up question. Just obviously, we're dealing with a housing crisis. We're seeing a number of encampments around multiple areas of Waterloo Region. Let's talk about building these tiny homes and potential fourplex options as a situational outcome for these individuals to get them off of the streets and into something more secure and safe.
Yeah, you know, something's great. I'm going to pass this over to the mayor. It's his community, but I think it's great. I love watching that show, Tiny Homes, too, and they're really creative. I do. I watch all those building shows. But there's so many different options. You know, the modular homes are good, too. They're less expensive. I call them the starter homes, tiny homes. But, Mayor, you're doing a great job because you knocked it out of the park. You built 136% over your target. So he's doing something right here. So, Mayor, it's over to you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Premier. And, you know, I understand your question is really focused around the challenge of encampments and so on. And, you know, we've really had some innovative solutions here in our community. The first of which was a Better Tent City, which, you know, is doing a tremendous job in terms of serving the needs of a portion of the community. The region has since opened a second set of homes, 50 of them, with all of the requisite supports that are needed from a wraparound support point of view. I think in the long run, what we know we ultimately need is a series of investments in housing, and you know we're seeing that in terms of today's announcement. We're seeing that with previous announcements. We're seeing that with investments from our federal counterparts as well. As you know, at the region, just this week, we approved a strategy to end chronic homelessness with a desire to see a specific work plan developed in that regard. What I can tell you from a city point of view, we've worked very carefully with individuals and community groups to tackle the issue locally. It took a while, but eventually we were able to ensure that everybody, for example, that was in Victoria Park was supported, and now we can get on with the renovation and reopening that portion of the park. And so I think what this reminds all of us of is how all of these things require a all of community solution. The cities can't solve this on their own. The regions can't. The province can't. The feds can't. It takes all four orders of government. It takes community coming together, not for profits, for profits, and that's how we're going to tackle this, because this is not just any one group's problem. It's all of our problem as a society, and we need to tackle it together. Over to you, sir.
Yeah.
This will be the last reporter.
Right.
Hi, Justine with City News.
Hi.
So I know affordable housing is the biggest problem, I think, in the region right now. Everyone is curious about that. How are you ensuring that this $14 million is actually going to go towards building affordable housing that people can actually buy?
Thanks, Premier. And as you can appreciate, getting housing built requires a number of steps. Some of those steps are improving our processes, and we've done that. And back when the Premier and the Minister announced Bill 23, the day after the last provincial election, they actually referenced the City of Kitchener as an example of a city who actually, ahead of everyone else, did some of that work. And we're seeing those results in terms of the approval processes and so on. It requires investments in infrastructure, and this and some of the announcements in the recent provincial budget will allow us to continue to make those investments. We were successful in our federal Housing Accelerator Fund application as an example, and the three of the things that we needed to do were around planning policy, and Council has met our timelines on that, accomplished them all, and I'll note that they were all also supported unanimously by all members of Council. There will be more announcements coming up in the coming days and weeks, both that will involve our provincial partners, our federal partners, our regional partners, and others. And rest assured that the last thing that I want to do or would ever support is seeing those dollars not being used for those purposes, because my chance of lining up and making a request for any more in that case is pretty negligible.
This will be the last question.
So this is a little different. This is about the Wilmot Township thing again. The farmers have been told that their land will be expropriated if during the negotiation process. I'm wondering if someone could speak to that. Like, is that something that you support?
You know something, I haven't been deep into this. I've heard the same thing. And when I hear that, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me. I'm all for assembling land across the province, but I don't know. Personally, I think it should have been handled a little differently with a real estate company. So it kind of really bothered me when I heard that. You have to be a willing participant, and that's what we're looking for: willing participants, willing townships and regions that want to open an opportunity for companies to come here and create jobs for their residents. But yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I heard that. But in saying that, I'm in favor of giving towns opportunities to collect more taxes and make their residents have an opportunity to get great paying jobs. So, but good point on that. So anyways, that's what we're looking to do across the province, and the townships that do it, they're going to have great companies coming to town. It's not just the township or the city or region. It's right across, 100 miles out, 200 miles out, when they're delivering parts into that area. So it's a good thing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.